OP's original post on r/Tafo. Title: Tafo by sending my boss a screenshot of me trash-talking him with my coworkers. Alright, buckle up. I'm about to take you on a 48-hour roller coaster that somehow felt like living through a season of The Office but written by the same guy who did Breaking Bad. I'm a 28-year-old guy working at a mid-sized marketing agency. Not Mad Men, glamorous, not startup ping-pong table, quirky, just beige. Beige cubicles, beige coffee, beige career trajectory. We make social media campaigns for mid-tier brands, which basically means I get paid to figure out new ways to make toothpaste sound exciting. Anyway, my boss, let's call him Richard. Not because that's his real name, but because, well, you know. Richard is the kind of guy who uses, per my last email, like it's a personal catchphrase. He's not evil, but he has this talent for making every meeting feel like a TED Talk about synergy that nobody asked for. The group chat. Now, here's where it gets dangerous. Our little team has a private Slack channel called The Cool Kids Table. It's me, Sarah, graphic designer, 31, queen of sarcasm, and Jay, copywriter, 26, caffeine addict, possibly a raccoon in a human suit. The name started as a joke, but it turned into our digital safe space, where we send memes, complain about client requests, and occasionally, vent about Richard's more ridiculous moments. For example, last Thursday, he gave a 15-minute speech on the psychology of fonts because he read half an article on LinkedIn. I wish I was exaggerating. We roasted him so hard in the chat that my phone nearly overheated. The setup. Fast forward to Friday. I'm working from home, because in our agency, WFH Friday is code for answer a few emails and then disappear into Netflix. I was on a Zoom call with Richard and a client, screen sharing a document. Call ends, Richard pings me. Richard, hey, can you send me that spreadsheet? Me, sure, gimme a sec. Here's where my brain took a vacation. I had the spreadsheet open, but I also had Slack open on my second monitor, specifically, a thread from earlier that morning where we were, critiquing Richard's latest, motivational email. It included gems like, Sarah, does he think he's running NASA? Jay, I printed his email and fed it to my sourdough starter. And me? Me, if he says, circle back one more time, I'm circling back to HR. The mistake. I needed to screenshot the spreadsheet. Easy. But instead of clicking on the spreadsheet window, my tired Friday brain took a screenshot of the Slack window. And without checking, why would I? I'm a professional idiot. I dragged that file into the email and hit send. No subject line, no message, just a screenshot attachment. Straight to Richard's inbox. It wasn't until about 2 minutes later, when Slack pinged again and Jay typed LMAO, did you mean to post this here? That I felt my stomach drop into the earth's core. The realization. You know that thing where your face gets so hot you can hear your own pulse? Yeah. That. I frantically checked my sent folder. There it was. My career obituary, timestamped 2:43 p.m. I had two options. Send a follow-up email explaining it was a mistake. Fake my own death and start a new life as a sheep farmer in New Zealand. I chose option 1. Sort of. My follow-up was, Hi Richard, that was not the correct file. Please disregard. Not exactly Pulitzer material. The wait. No reply. No read receipt. Nothing. I spent the rest of Friday refreshing my inbox like a lab rat hitting the treat lever. Around 4:15 p.m., Richard finally replied. Got it. Let's touch base Monday. 4 words. 4 words. What does that even mean? Touch base for what? My termination? A PowerPoint on the psychology of betrayal? I immediately texted Sarah and Jay. Me, I'm dead. I'm already a ghost. Sarah, okay, but if you're a ghost, can you still finish the banner ad? Jay, bro, just tell him Slack autocorrected your screenshot. Friday night spiral. I spent my Friday night Googling, "Can you get fired for insulting your boss in a private chat, like a man preparing for his own trial?" Reddit, of course, had conflicting answers. Half said, "Nah, you're fine," the other half said, "Update your LinkedIn now." Around midnight, I decided I'd overreacted. Richard's not petty, right? Maybe he'd laugh it off. Maybe he wouldn't even open the screenshot. Maybe he's the kind of guy who deletes attachments without looking. Then Saturday morning, I got a text from Sarah. "Sarah, hey, did Richard message you?" Me, "No." "Why?" "Sarah, he sent me a calendar invite for a 9 a.m. Monday, team alignment meeting. No agenda." Me, "Oh no." Sarah, "Oh yes. The dread. So now it's Sunday night. I've done nothing but overthink every possible scenario. My rent is due next week. I can't exactly afford to get fired. But also, there's a non-zero chance this ends with Richard pulling up our Slack messages on a projector like it's evidence. Part of me wants to walk in Monday morning with a fake cough and claim I have COVID. The other part of me thinks maybe it's better to face the music. But there's a third part, the tiny chaotic gremlin in my brain, whispering, "What if you double down?" And that's where I'm at right now. 12 hours until the meeting. One career on the line. Zero idea how to fix this. Update, Monday morning meeting. Alright, Reddit. It's Monday. I barely slept. My dreams were like a bad sitcom. Richard was in a judge's robe, banging a gavel, and Sarah was the bailiff handing him our Slack logs like damning evidence. I woke up, stared at my coffee like it might contain the answers, and walked to work in a haze. The city felt too cheerful for the moment. Sun shining, birds chirping, all while I was mentally writing my resignation letter. The arrival. I got to the office at 8:45, which for me is absurdly early. Sarah was already there, perched at her desk like a cat who knows it's about to watch a vase fall. "Sarah, you ready for your execution?" Me, "Only if you're giving the eulogy." Sarah, "Oh, I've already written it." Jay rolled in 5 minutes later, holding a coffee the size of a small child. "Jay, if you get fired, can I have your ergonomic chair?" Me, "Sure, put it on my will." The meeting. At 9 sharp, Richard appears in the doorway of the conference room. No smile. Just a little nod, like a judge calling us into chambers. The man even wore a tie on a Monday, not a good sign. We file in. Sarah sits to my left, Jay to my right. Richard's laptop is hooked up to the big screen. He clears his throat. "Richard, so I want to address something I saw on Friday. My soul leaves my body. My ears ring. Richard, I received a screenshot. It was not the spreadsheet I asked for." He clicks. And there it is, our Slack chat, blown up on the 55-inch monitor like the world's most damning group project. Every sarcastic line. Every mocking emoji. My circle back joke glowing in 1080p shame. I want to shrink into my chair until I become part of the upholstery. The confrontation. "Richard, I'll be honest, this was disappointing to see. But I think it's important we talk about the underlying issues here." "Okay." He's calm. Too calm. That's scarier than yelling. Me, "Richard, Richard, hold on. Let me finish." He leans forward, hands clasped. "Richard, if there's feedback about how I run the team, I'd rather you bring it to me directly. I don't appreciate side conversations." Sarah shifts uncomfortably. Jay is staring into his coffee like it might open a portal. Sarah, "Richard, to be fair, some of it was just joking around." Richard, "Joking or not, it's still disrespectful. I can feel my career gasping for air." The twist. And then, he surprises me. "Richard, that said, I also realize this isn't entirely your fault." "Wait, what?" "Richard, I've been reflecting, and I think I can come across as overly formal." Maybe I push too hard. Maybe my style doesn't work for everyone. I blink. Did he just admit fault? Is this a trap? Richard, so, here's what we're going to do. I want to schedule one-on-one meetings with each of you this week. No agenda. Just an open conversation. Sarah and Jay exchange a quick glance. I can't tell if they're relieved or terrified. Aftermath of the meeting. We walk out. No one says a word until we're back at our desks. Then Jay whispers. Jay, that was not what I expected. Sarah, yeah, me neither. He didn't even yell. Me, maybe he's planning to murder me later. We laugh nervously, but I can't shake the feeling there's something else going on. Monday afternoon. Around 2 p.m., Richard sends me an invite for my open conversation. It's for Wednesday morning. 2 whole days to stew in anxiety. Great. Sarah's invite is for Thursday. Jay's is for Friday. I notice he spaced them out, like he's setting up dominoes. The weird part. Later that day, I get a DM from someone in accounting, let's call her Maria. We're not close, but we talk sometimes. Maria, hey, just a heads up. I overheard Richard talking to HR this morning. Me, about me? Maria, about team culture and inappropriate communications. Oh no. Oh no. I thank her and immediately start spiraling again. Was the calm meeting just a formality before HR lowers the hammer? Tuesday paranoia. Tuesday is a blur. Every time Richard walks by my desk, I feel like he's sizing me up. At lunch, I notice him chatting with Karen from HR, both of them looking at a clipboard. Are they compiling my crimes? Are they building a case file titled The Slack Scandal of 2025? That night, I barely eat. I draft 3 different speeches in my head for Wednesday. The sincere apology speech. The defiant, this is unfair, speech. The, if I'm going down swinging, speech. Wednesday, the one-on-one. I show up to Richard's office at 9 o'clock sharp. He gestures for me to sit. No laptop, no notes, just him and a coffee mug that says, World's Best Boss. I swear, the irony was intentional. Richard, I wanted to start by saying, I don't hold grudges. What happened Friday, I've moved past it. Okay. Promising. Richard, but it did highlight something important, the way our team communicates when I'm not in the room. He pauses. I brace myself. Richard, I know I can be intense. And maybe that's why people feel the need to vent. But I also think there's been a lack of mutual respect. I nod, trying to look like a reasonable adult and not someone who once made a meme of Richard photoshopped onto a Game of Thrones villain. Then he leans in. Richard, I want to rebuild trust. But I also need to know I can count on your loyalty. Something about the word loyalty makes my stomach twist. This isn't just about Friday. Me, you can. I mean, I'm committed to the team. Richard, good. Because I'm making some changes soon. And I need people I can trust when things get complicated. What does that mean? The bombshell. Then, casually, like he's commenting on the weather. Richard, by the way, keep this between us for now, but there will be a restructure next month. Some people might not have a place here afterward. My brain short-circuits. Is he warning me? Threatening me? Recruiting me? Before I can ask, he smiles, that tight, polite smile bosses use when they're about to end a conversation. Richard, all right. That's all for now. Thanks for your honesty. I walk out of his office in a daze. Sarah immediately pounces. Sarah, well? Me, I don't know. I think he just told me there's going to be layoffs. Jay, what? We huddle in the break room, whispering like we're plotting a heist. Sarah's meeting is tomorrow. Jay's on Friday. Are we all going to get the same cryptic message? The worry. If there's a restructure, our Slack roasting might have been the perfect excuse to trim the fat. Or maybe Richard actually does want to fix things and keep us around. But that word, loyalty, keeps echoing in my head. The cliffhanger. End of the day, I get a mysterious calendar invite from Richard. Not for a meeting. Just titled, Confidential Project Discussion. Scheduled for next Monday. No details. No participants except me and him. When I text Sarah about it, she says she didn't get one. Neither did Jay. So now I'm lying in bed, staring at my phone, wondering. Am I in trouble? Am I being recruited? Or am I being set up? And the worst part? Tomorrow it's Sarah's turn in the one-on-one hot seat. Final update. Thursday morning, Sarah's turn. I got into the office early. Not because I'm suddenly a model employee, but because I wanted front row seats to whatever went down in Sarah's one-on-one. She strutted in around 8:55, calm as a cucumber. Don't worry, she told me, I've been in the game longer. I know how to handle these. Famous last words. At 9 o'clock sharp, Richard called her in. Door shut. I tried not to stare, but every 5 minutes my eyes wandered over like a cat watching a laser pointer. 30 minutes passed. Then 40. By the 50-minute mark, Jay and I were exchanging looks like, is she still alive in there? When she finally emerged, she didn't come straight to her desk. She went straight outside. I followed. Well? Sarah, we need to talk. Somewhere private. The reveal. We went to the coffee shop across the street. She ordered an iced latte like she hadn't just been in a potential firing squad. Sarah, okay. First of all, he knows more than he's letting on. He mentioned specific things I've said in Slack before, stuff that wasn't in your screenshot. That hit me like a freight train. Wait. What? Sarah, yeah. Like, he brought up the time I called his Monday pep talk verbal NyQuil. That was months ago. Which meant. He's been watching our chat. Sarah, I don't know. Maybe someone's been sending him stuff. Or maybe, she lowered her voice. Maybe IT monitors private channels. I felt my stomach drop. The cool kids table wasn't so private after all. Sarah, and get this, he offered me a position on some special internal initiative. Said it's about improving company culture. But it felt weird. Like he wanted me to spy on people. Oh no. Thursday afternoon. Back at the office, Sarah kept her head down. Jay cornered me in the break room. Jay, what happened? We might be under surveillance. Jay, like, NSA level? More like boss with too much time on his hands level. Jay's eyes went wide. Well, that explains why he told me Friday's meeting is going to be about my future here. Friday, Jay's turn. Jay went in Friday morning. He came out 20 minutes later looking like someone had just offered him a mysterious briefcase full of cash and a moral dilemma. Jay, he wants me on his side. Like, really on his side. What does that mean? Jay, it means he knows there's going to be layoffs, and he's picking his inner circle. Apparently, Richard hinted that some problem employees were going to be moved out, and that he wanted people he can trust to help shape the new culture. Connecting the dots. So here's where we stood by Friday afternoon. Richard has somehow seen more of our Slack history than just my accidental screenshot. He's recruiting each of us individually for this mysterious restructure. He's implying we might be safe, if we're loyal. Which left us with one terrifying question: what happens if we're not? Weekend panic. The three of us met Saturday at Sarah's apartment. We laid everything out. If we all refused his offers, maybe he'd target us. But if we all accepted, we'd be complicit in whatever office Hunger Games he was planning. Jay suggested we play along until we knew more. Sarah hated the idea. I didn't know what to think. All I knew was Monday's confidential project discussion with Richard suddenly felt like a job interview for something I hadn't applied to, and maybe didn't want. Monday, the confidential project. I walk into Richard's office at 9 a.m. He's standing by the window, hands clasped behind his back like a Bond villain. Richard, thanks for coming. Close the door. I do. He gestures to a chair. Richard, you've probably heard bits and pieces from Sarah and Jay. I want to set the record straight. Here we go. Richard, corporate has approved a major restructuring. Some teams will be merged, others eliminated. I've been asked to lead one of the new consolidated departments. He pauses for dramatic effect. Richard, I want you on my leadership team. My brain short-circuits. Me, why me? You saw the screenshot. You know Richard, I saw the screenshot. I also saw your work. You're sharp. You're not afraid to speak your mind, even if you don't always choose the best venue. Did he just compliment me? Richard, I need people who can be honest with me. But once we're in the room, I need loyalty. Absolute loyalty. There's that word again. The catch. Richard, if you accept, you'll have influence over who stays and who goes. If you don't, well, I can't guarantee what'll happen when the dust settles. So it's a promotion, or a veiled threat. Me, and Sarah? Jay? Richard, they'll get the same offer. But I'm asking you first. The decision. I told him I'd think about it. He gave me until Friday. The second I left his office, I texted Sarah and Jay. We met in the stairwell. I told them everything. Sarah's eyes narrowed. Sarah, so he's pitting us against each other. Jay, or testing if we'll work together. Me, either way, we have 4 days to decide. The plan. We made a pact, none of us would accept unless we all did, and only if we could use the positions to protect as many people as possible from layoffs. The rest of the week was tense. Richard was in and out of meetings with upper management. HR started quietly pulling people into closed-door sessions. The air in the office felt charged, like a storm was coming. Friday, the final choice. I walked into Richard's office. He didn't bother with small talk. Richard, well? Me, we'll do it. But all 3 of us, or none. He studied me for a long moment. Then, and I swear I'm not making this up, he smiled. Richard, good. That's exactly what I was hoping you'd say. Wait. What? Richard, I don't want yes men. I want a team that's united. If you'd thrown each other under the bus, I wouldn't have trusted you. My jaw probably hit the floor. The whole thing, the offers, the loyalty talk, even the one-on-ones, had been a test. He wanted to see if we'd stand together. The aftermath. We got the roles. The restructure happened. Some people did get laid off, but far fewer than we feared. With our new positions, we managed to shield a few folks from the chopping block. And the Slack channel? Deleted. Permanently. We agreed some safe spaces aren't as safe as you think. Looking back. So yeah, Reddit, I sent my boss a screenshot of me mocking him, and somehow it ended with a promotion. I'm not saying this is a strategy you should try, but sometimes chaos has a weird way of working out. Though for the record, I still flinch whenever I hear the phrase, circle back. TLDR, sent my boss a screenshot roasting him. He saw it. Instead of firing me, he used it as a weird loyalty test during a company restructure. Ended up with a promotion. 0 out of 10 do not recommend for the faint of heart.